Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So today we're back again with another really interesting video. And basically it's about Wasp and Wasp's passive stun. For those of you who are not aware, I'll quickly catch you up. Basically Wasp's passive stun up to now has been able to stun immune opponents, and that's going to get changed. Now the first thing that everybody might ask is like, yeah, well, that makes it stun immunity. Stun should not work, and that seemed to be the case, and even I myself agree the reasoning of that, because stun immunity does not imply stun debuff immunity. It implies stun effect immunity altogether, unlike, let's say, debuff immunity and passive effects are not debuffs. Therefore she still will be able to stun debuff immune opponents, but not specifically stun immune opponents. And we have some interesting conversation with KABAM support staff here, and basically it starts out as a simple inquiry about why Captain America Infinity War is not able to nullify unstoppable buffs. And here is a response from KABAM support, where basically it says that passive buffs are not meant to be interacted with. Therefore these abilities such as Captain America Infinity War cannot bypass them, because Captain America Infinity War nullifies unstoppable buffs. Passive effect is not a buff. And here we have a further explanation that these passive effects are not meant to be interacted with, therefore they cannot be nullified. So it is a very interesting concept that kind of gives us a bit more insight in what passives are for. So here we have the complaint send tickets, help ticket sender. I'll not disclose any names, but so does this explain why when I'm in cooldown with Hood's invisibility and I'm stun immune, but Wasp can still stun me with her passive heavy stun, because Hood cannot interact with Wasp's passive stun? So that is a very legitimate question asked here, because that would kind of explain the situation, and Hood is in fact stun immune in his cooldown from invisibility, but somehow Wasp is able to stun him. So very legitimate question to kind of like dig a bit deeper, I suppose, in this whole passive buff stuff. And now we're gonna go to the glorious response from KABAM support staff once again. And let's just read it through. Thank you for taking the time to get back to us. This is correct, because Wasp stun is a passive stun effect. Even stun immune champions will be affected by it. I will say there aren't many passive stuns, blah, 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 whatever. So here we basically are saying that even if something is stun immune, Wasp is able to stun these opponents, because passive effects do not interact with either abilities, allegedly. And so does this ring bells to anyone? Oh man, this is just so funny, just like Archangel all over again, when one KABAM official employee goes on forums and says that Archangel is working as intended with his passive stun, and then immediately a couple months after we get a fix for Archangel, nerfing his passive stun into an active one, which we still didn't get any sort of compensation or ramifications for still. So here we are in exactly the same boat, where one person employed by KABAM is answering a deeply technical question about the inner workings of game, having access to information none of the players do, having access to developers, designers, having direct access to KABAM's basically core people, and basically all the information that they have available for themselves is in fact stating that Wasp is meant to stun immune opponents, champions, stuff. And now on forums everybody seems to be changing their minds. So to put it in as simple terms as possible, this response from KABAM support staff essentially is giving you a blessing to rank up Wasp, knowing that she is meant to be able to stun immune opponents. That is how she is designed, that is how these interactions work, and you are free to do so in whichever game mode it is possible. And this is a piece of basically document that provides you with a set information confirming that Wasp should be able to stun stuff that is stun immune. And now we are getting completely different story from KABAM people, saying that it was never invented to be so, that it was always a bug. This is a bug fix that somehow took a year, that they were unaware of. And the question simply arises how? First of all, how the fudge they were not aware of it for an entire year? That's an absolute load of bollocks. Even the support staff had been asked direct questions about it. They had sent very specific answers, basically greenlighting Wasp's ability to stun immune stuff. Additionally, there has been load of information available, videos and discussions on the same matter. And somehow, apparently all of that has skipped KABAM. And now they have awoken from a year-long coma and realized that Wasp is doing this and it should not continue. Well then, what to do now, right? Because first things first, I imagine if I was the person who had this email at my disposal at any given time, whenever a discussion about Wasp would arise and her ability to stun immune opponents, I would simply bring up this picture showing KABAM employee, so somebody who is directly paid by KABAM to answer questions of the players, saying that Wasp is perfectly able to stun immune opponents. That is how it should be, and if that is what you want to rank up your Wasp for, you should go ahead to do so, because here we have an official KABAM employee telling you that that is perfectly fine. Right, so what KABAM should do in this kind of newfound information, or well, at least I doubt it's newfound. It's for them, it's more so that this has come to light. Anyways, they have three options, probably. Number one is acknowledge this piece of information, acknowledge the damage that they have done to players, in this case by misleading them, misinforming them, whether intentionally or unintentionally, not for me to debate, and immediately open up the discussions for compensation, rank down tickets, and the ethicality of it, and probably come out with an apology to the players if they still want to make that change for Wasp, which I don't think is too big of a deal in the grand scheme of things, but still. Then they also obviously have a more likely option of completely ignoring all of these screenshots, completely ignoring what their paid employees are telling players who are inquiring about technical information about this game, and pretty much acknowledge the fact that there is absolutely 0 point to ask anybody anything via this support ticket system, because time and time again, whatever support staff does tell their players does in fact appear to be directly contradicting what seems to be the case when presented by KABAM Mike or KABAM Lit or whoever on forums, and goes directly against everything, in fact, that they have said in past. And there's always the third option, which would be apologize to the players and work on some sort of better system and better rules and guidelines, make them public and also make them available to their staff employees, and kind of invest more in their own employees and give them more knowledge about how their game works, which is something I would like to see, but I doubt we will. Either way, that will be it for today. I just found this screenshot extremely funny. The person who sent them through said that the owner gave us their blessing, the YouTubers basically, to use them for videos. Additionally, I did cut off all the email information and KABAM's staff support name, because I didn't want to kind of like reveal too much personal information. But anyways, all that aside, do let me know, what do you guys think about these screenshots, about the Wasp's stun ability of stun immune opponents, and this whole situation in general, because I just find it extremely hilarious. But that whenever KABAM does make some sort of direct stance, in case of Archangel or here in case of Wasp, that they have themselves purposely spread information that directly contradicts themselves. It's kind of like the story of a left hand does not know what the right hand is doing, which is so gloriously hilarious and incompetent that you could not write stuff like this. It's like from a really bad sitcom. But yeah, anyways, I'll catch you guys soon. If you like this video, hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit all the buttons, and I'm gonna see you soon. Later.